From inside Hama Central Prison, an appeal for help. Detainees announced an open-ended hunger strike more than a week ago to protest against the verdicts by a Syrian court. 11 inmates, the latest to be handed death sentences for taking part in peaceful protests in 2011, the beginning of the uprising that led to the war now in its 8th year.
We speak to your conscience. We appeal to your humanity to end our pain and alleviate our suffering. We have been imprisoned for long years. We are exhausted. We have the right to live.
Human rights groups say the verdicts are unjust. The International Committee of the Red Cross has been denied access to the prisons where detainees don't have lawyers. Syria's counter-terrorism law has also been criticized for criminalizing almost all peaceful opposition activity.
Many political protesters and political dissidents who were basically picked up by the Syrian security services or detained at checkpoints and taken into these detention facilities without any form of due process.
Those held inside Hama prison retained control of much of the facility after a mutiny in 2016. They have phones and internet access, but despite managing to draw attention to their plight, the international community remains silent.
Tens of thousands have disappeared. Others are being tried in military field courts or counter-terrorism courts, where proceedings aren't up to international standards. Little action has been taken. There is also the silence of the UN. The regime refuses to discuss the file.
The families say the case of at least 80,000 detainees and the forcibly disappeared needs to be dealt with in any post-conflict settlement. A few months ago, and after years of silence, hundreds of families learned their missing relatives have been registered dead. They fear the government may be trying to cover up crimes against humanity. Human rights groups estimate that between 5,000 and 13,000 people have been executed in Zeina prison, and a further 18,000 have died in other prisons after being tortured and because of poor conditions since 2011. But Zeina has been singled out by Amnesty International as nothing more than a human slaughterhouse. It's not the first time detainees in Hama prison are resisting transfer to Zeina. They are reaching out to the world for help through their hunger strike, asking others to be their voices. Zeina, Khodr, Al Jazeera, Beirut.